let's try on some of the top selling fall boots on Amazon. There's not really any particular order because Jackie was saying like every day the top selling changes in the number. They're all basically within the top 10. Let's start with the first one. The first one is by the brand Soda Glove, and these right here are their ankle boot with lug sole. Oh, I forgot this one has a heel. I forgot about that. These ones are $89.99. We picked up US size 7, color L wheat, materials imitation suede, and man-made leather. They're actually very lightweight. For some reason, when I was looking at these, because of the heel and the platform on the bottom, they looked a lot heavier, but they feel pretty lightweight. So let's put these on and see how they feel, how they fit, you know, all the good stuff and the quality. I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually really like these. So the one thing right now, I wanted to see if I was able to put these boots on without having to bend down and kind of like spread apart this right here. Very easy, very comfortably. They still have like structure to them, but they have such good stretch. A+ for me with comfortability. They fit very well, very true size. I would say right now I'm wearing like no-show socks. I think you could still get away with pairing like thicker socks with this, even with your true size. They might be a little bit more snug towards the front, but everywhere else, because they are so wide and they have a really good amount of stretch to them and they're so comfortable, I feel like you'd have no issues with like thicker socks if that's what you really wanted to pair them with. So the look of these boots, they have a really nice, more of like an almond round toe. It's not super round and it's not super pointy. Very comfortable. I will say, like my foot, it's like normal to a little bit wide. So you can kind of see the sides of my foot kind of peeking through when you have the boot on, like on the sides right here, like my pinky toe, my big toe on the sides. But I feel like because they stretch so well, I think they're gonna wear in nicely. The heel, what would you say? This is like a good 3.5 inch heel. It's not too big, but because it's thick and it has a nice platform, very comfortable to walk in. It gives you a nice little height, but you're not like struggling to walk in the boots. They're very comfy. And the other thing is, because they're a little bit taller, they go above the ankle. The one thing I was kind of concerned about was how comfortable it's going to be on the back of my foot, because sometimes with this type of a height, they can easily rub, and because they're so stretchy, they can easily rub when you walk. No issues, they feel very comfortable, and because they stretch so well, when you walk, they basically walk with you. They're not constraining. Super comfy. That's what I will say, the one thing, very comfy on the inside. Quality, it's actually pretty good. The only thing I'm gonna complain about are there are a lot of witness marks. This is a brand new pair of shoes. We just opened them up and you can see that either somebody was touching them, either somebody purchased them and they just returned them, or just that's just how they were from the factory. And because the bottom, you can't really tell that somebody has worn them, but like the heel on the sides, there's quite a bit of witness marks and it just looks dirty and not like a fresh pair of boots. But overall, I think if you're looking for a pair of boots like this, kind of like a Chelsea style boot, not Chelsea, what would you call these? Like platform Chelsea with a heel, I think this is a pretty great option. And how many colors do you think they have available of this? There's 5 colors. 5 colors, but it's very nice. I say it's very versatile with so many different options to wear. This is a really great transitional boot that you can wear like honestly all year round. The next pair is similar to the first pair, but it's not as much of a heel. They're just a lot more chunky in the platform. This right here is by the brand Steve Madden, and this is their Howler Booty. Price $99.95. US size 7, color, we got sand suede. They have 4 other color options, and the materials, we have leather and textile upper with synthetic lining and sole. The one thing I do want to mention about this particular boot, there was another pair we wanted to get on Amazon that was and is still the #1 selling boot. It's called the women's Chelsea boots, and they're priced at $47.98. But the reason why we couldn't get our hands on them, because the shipping is like 2 months away. You buy them and then you have to wait at least 2 months before they get delivered. And then a lot of the color options were completely sold out. So many sizes were sold out, but they have 10 color options. So if you want to look into something like this, but around $50, they have that option on Amazon. So let's try these on And this right here, these are heavy. These are a hefty pair of booties. This is what I was expecting the first pair to be, but that one is definitely a lot more lightweight and it's like hollow compared to this. I feel like I could throw this at someone and like knock them out. Let's see how they fit, see how they look, feel, all the good stuff. These are, I will say, a true size. They run true to size. They are a little more tight, but I think they'll stretch out as you wear them because this all upper portion is leather. And then the sock material, this is all, they're just saying it's just synthetic sock. But they're actually very comfy on. I like how snug they feel, but they still have room to stretch. For example, when I'm walking, they're also stretching with me, but I love that they're a little bit more snug towards the top. It kind of resembles a sock. Again, I'm wearing the no-show socks and they feel very comfy. I personally would not want to wear a chunky knit style sock because, like I said, they're a little bit more snug, but I feel like over time, these will stretch out just ever so slightly to the shape and size of my foot. One thing I will say about comfort is how heavy they are. When you walk, you can kind of feel the heftiness, but I actually like it in a pair of boots like this, especially when the platform is so big and the heel is so chunky. I feel like I can take these on a walk with me and I'm not gonna be scared that I'm gonna beat them up because the sole is all rubber. So I feel like it's gonna withstand a lot of the different weather that I would take these boots out into. The next thing I will say, the look of it is really, really beautiful. Again, it has that more almond shaped toe, a little more rounded, but it's not super, super round. They look really, really pretty on, and the color is very similar to these right here, like almost identical to the first pair of boots. But the texture of these, it definitely feels like leather. It has the kind of graininess feel to it on the outside. So I feel like if you scratch it, you won't be able to really see the scratch witness marks. So I really appreciate that. Quality, it's good. I will say I'm kind of nitpicking over here. I see some stitching, I see some witness marks, but then again, if this right here is all real leather, if they were laying in a box for a certain amount of time and they weren't kind of moved around, you can kind of see a little bit of witness marks. Like for example, right here, there's one on the back, but these are definitely made far better than the first ones. First, you have the double stitching everywhere where they have stitching. So it's gonna last a lot longer. If a little stitch pops out, that's okay. You have a second one to have it for security. And then even the way this boot is put together, there's not much witness marks the way they put from the upper to the sole, which is really great. And they feel phenomenal. Like they feel they're gonna last a while. So I'm really happy with the quality, and I will say that I'm glad that these are not more than $100. So if you get them for $100, I think you'll be very happy with your investment. But again, Amazon, Nordstrom, they always have sales. You know what I mean? Especially on Steve Madden. But I think these are a really great solid pair of chunky Chelsea boots. If you're looking for something like this that will kind of amp up your outfit and your style, I think definitely check these out because these are really, really beautiful. They fit really well, and I think you'll really enjoy them. This next pair looks really fun. This doesn't have a brand, it's just called Women's Ankle Pointed Toe Snakeskin Mid-Heel Booties. Price $55.98. We picked up a US size 7, and this is the second dark brown color. Has 23 other color options. Materials, environmental faux leather. But these actually look really, really cute. I love the color, I love the print. Let's try these on. So these next pair of boots, they fit true to size 7. I'm wearing the socks with these also, and I wanted to see, because of these such low cutouts on the side, I want to see if you'd be able to see the socks. And you can ever so slightly. So I feel like you'd have to go with the very, very small, super, super tiny no-show socks, or just completely not wear any socks with these types of booties. True to size, they fit comfortable. The one thing I will say about comfortability and fit is this right here. So the inside, it has this lining on the inside that's fake. And when you're walking, because there's like not as much structure, or is just not as much movement to the shoe with this material, it kind of starts scratching you right here on both of the cutouts, and then on the back and the front. One of the shoes, my right one, has more of a wear, and I just put these on just to try them on, and the lining already is coming off, and that's how it's just kind of rubbing me in the back. I'm just saying, I feel like the lining could have been a lot softer and more gentle on the leg and the foot. Moving on, I think the look of this boot, like these booties, has a really nice aesthetic. I think They're very stunning. I love the more of a pointy toe, very, very comfortable. I was very shocked. And then the heel is very comfortable. It's like what, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, a very nice comfy heel. It's not as chunky, but it's still chunky enough where you're not gonna like wobble and be uncomfortable when you're walking in these booties. The next thing, I love the detail. I love all the like stitching. It kind of has like that sock boot feel, like the Chelsea boot, but because it has all these cutouts, it kind of gives an extra little aesthetic, little look to them. Overall, I think these boots are really beautiful, and for what are they, like around $55? Pretty happy with the pricing. The only thing, I feel like if I were to wear these for an entire day, I feel like my legs would get really beat up right here, just because this is just scratching, and the way it's bending with the foot when I'm walking, it's not bending in the most comfortable way. But looking around everything else, like you can see witness marks from the glue where the upper of the shoe is combined to the platform and the heel. And then also on the inside, some of this lining doesn't look and doesn't feel as great. But I think overall aesthetically, these are a beautiful pair of boots that I would maybe wear to like dinner or brunch or something like that, where it's only a couple of hours and not like a full day of activities. All right, moving on to these pair of boots. This right here is by Amazon Essentials, and this is their women's lace-up combat boot, priced $35.90, size 7, color cognac, and they have one other option, which is a black. Materials 100% synthetic. Let's put these on. These ones actually look really, really cool. So these Amazon Essential booties, they fit, again, true to size, very comfy. You see you have this really nice long zipper that goes from bottom to the very top. And sometimes when you have a zipper boot like this, like combat style boot, sometimes it's at the very, very top. It can be a little tight or not tight enough. So I do appreciate that they also provide lacing that you can do yourself. But the one thing I will say, even though I fixed the lacing to the tightness that I want, because the material and the lacing themselves, they're not as structured, it starts to loosening just very lightly, not very lightly. It starts to loosen up like on its own because it's that type of like lacing that doesn't have structure. But I do like how they fit. I think they fit really great, very comfy on. It has like all of this lining on the inside that's a little more plush, and it feels really, really nice on. And none of this right here, like where the zipper is, where the tongue is, when I was walking, it didn't feel uncomfortable. Let me explain why. I feel like it would feel uncomfortable if this boot had structure, but because the boot is so lightweight and it doesn't have any kind of structure or heftiness, it just kind of wants to like flop and just, it makes it very comfortable. But because it has no structure, I feel like this boot doesn't look as good. There's so much creasing happening. A combat boot, I feel like it has to have structure. It has to have like presence. It can have creasing like over time from when you wear it, but not creasing like on the sides. And it looks so awkward and it just does such weird things. But I will say it's a very, very, very comfortable pair of boots. I think for $35, you can't really beat these boots. The quality is okay, even for $35. You can see so many glue witness marks, but I think overall, if you're looking for a pair of combat boots that are not too hefty, they're not too bulky, they're not heavy, I think you'll actually really enjoy these. And if you want something super simple, like lace-up combat boots with a zipper, you don't have to think about it, I think you'll really enjoy these. I think the height is actually really, really flattering and a great height. I do like the round almond toe. I think that's like the most flattering. And the color is really, really beautiful. It's very rich in person. It's more of that like neutral cognac. It's not too warm, it's not too red. So you can definitely pair these with a lot of different outfits. Really dress them up, dress them down, wear them with dresses, skirts, with like some tights, or wear them with like leggings or jeans. And I think you'll really enjoy these. But keep in mind, they have a lot of creasing to them, as you can see. So this pair right here is by the brand Lucky Brand, and this is the most expensive that we have. This right here is $129. This is their women's basil ankle booty. We got a US size 7, color toffee, which is so pretty. And then there are 43 other color options that are mostly sold out, so that's not great. 43 color options and they're sold out? Oh, there's still 12 available. So materials, 100% leather and a rubber sole. That's the first thing I smelled was the leather. All right, so let's put these on, see what they look like, see how they feel. because they look really pretty. Okay, so this is the only pair of shoes I would actually change sizes. I would either go up to a 7.5 with the regular width, but they also offer a wide width, and I'm gonna explain why I would go up. This right here in the back, the heel, it's so tight, it literally just like conforms to your foot and not in a good way. It's very uncomfortable. It kind of like doesn't let your foot breathe, but also because it's so tight, it's putting so much pressure off of the heel on the sole of your heel on your foot. So it feels like there's always something just like a fist up your foot and not in a comfortable way. I do like that it has the double zippers. I tried to put my foot in with just one zipper open, like on the inside, and you do have to open both zippers to get your foot in there comfortably without like shoving and breaking the shoe apart. But I will say this right here is actually really comfy. That's why I don't know if I would go to a wide. I'd maybe just go up half a size to feel comfortable in the heel. But it does feel good right here where the front portion is on the sides. It feels very comfortable with the toes and the sides of my foot, but just this right here and then just the heel on the bottom portion, it just feels really uncomfortable. I will say I do like the look of this boot from the top, but that's it. When I look at myself in the mirror, this entire design looks very awkward. I feel like if this right here was combined with more of a straighter front, maybe even more of like a pointy toe, but just more straight and not rounded up, it would look so much better. This right here, it's like combination of cowboy boots, clogs, and then just like clown shoes. I don't want to say it, but it kind of looks like it because when you're standing, the foot part, the front like toe portion goes up and it looks really awkward. I think it would look totally fine if it went up, but if the heel was more straight in the back, not so slanted, it wouldn't look as awkward. But for $100, $130, I think it's good, the quality, but there are some parts that I think are missed. Like for example, the stitching, I like that it's double stitched, but then the way they stitched it together looks really rushed and doesn't look like people were paying attention to the way it looks. There's just certain things that are just kind of, they look cheaply made or rushed. Like somebody was rushing to make these pair of boots. I do like the color. I think in person the color is really stunning. It's more on the lighter like chestnut cognac color with a little bit of warmth like red tones. I think they're really beautiful for fall, winter, and spring, honestly all year round, because they are more on the shorter side. You can wear them with like dresses, shorts, pair them with like stockings or tights, and then like leggings, jeans. You can definitely make a really cute outfit out of these boots, but then again, this whole thing right here, I'm not liking. Well, there you guys have it. Some of the most popular selling boots on Amazon right now. Some of them for a good reason, and some of them I'm just left scratching my head. But for now, guys, thank you for watching, spending time with me, and I'll see you next one very soon. Bye.